I think that what I've noticed is that holding on to any one thing really can hold an artist back. And what I started to realize pretty early on in the classical music industry was that I didn't feel as if that was the only place for me. And in fact, I started to have a resistance towards it at one point where I thought, I don't want to just do one thing. It kind of goes back to the technique thing where it's like, once you have that solid technique, it would inhibit you to only use that in one realm. And so what I started to feel this resistance of is that in classical music, what you're often doing is taking something that somebody made for you and trying to play that as perfectly as possible or as flawlessly as possible. And yes, putting your own stamp on it in a way, but in another essence, to me, it was holding back my own self-expression. I wanted to improvise. I wanted to write my own music. I wanted to create my own shows. And so during this time, electronics were creeping into the music and arts. I mean, they always have, especially in drumming. As a percussionist who hears things and like a drummer who wants to create soundscapes, I'm looking at it as like a different timbre, a different type of music, a different set of paints that I can add to my palette. And I'm thinking, how can I actually get this technology integrated into the things that I'm doing? And so I started exploring different types of software and different programs where I could actually sample my own drum sounds and manipulate them somehow and then start to trigger them live in my performances. Like I was really interested in the beginning of just taking analog sounds and mixing them with anything else that would make them more unique. And so like extra sauce, extra special in a way, because what you're doing is you're taking something existing and then you're finding something else and mixing it. It's like coming up with a color that nobody else has yet.
Yeah.
So that became very interesting to me. And then I started really exploring these different software programs. And that actually led me into software engineering and programming myself, where I started to dig into the code, start to figure out how do these things actually work under the hood. It took me into a whole other realm of things of like actually building programs that create the music itself. I leaned in heavily to that, but in the beginning, it was really just an exploration of how can I mix analog with digital and make a different type of sound. That's opened up the whole completely different world, and it just continues to. It's like an endless way of mixing paints that never ends in a way. And that's what I really love.